Look, Paul said to her now, there's something I've been wanting to ask you for a long time. Don't get mad, okay? I mean, whatever your answer is, I won't hold it against you. I know you're human.
That quick, nervous grin again. He fanned absently through the pages of Sweet Arrival while she waited for him to speak again.
When you realized it was Annie in the emergency room that night, did that affect how you treated her? He asked. I mean, did you try as hard to save her as you would have if she were just some...
He must have seen the look on her face, because the words froze on his lips. Olivia tightened her fingers around the glass of ginger ale. She stood up. You bastard. He set the books on the end table and walked toward her, rested his hand on her elbow.
I'm sorry, Liv. That was out of line. It's just that I've always wondered. I mean, if it had been me in your position, I don't know if I could have...
She jerked her arm away from him. You'd better go, Paul. He walked back to the end table, not looking at her, not speaking to her, and she watched as he gathered his things together and left the house. When he was gone, she sat down again, her legs too weak to carry her through the house. How far they were from a reconciliation if he could think that of her. Hadn't she wondered about it herself, though? In her bleakest moments, hadn't she asked herself the same question? She knew the answer. She had tried, with every ounce of strength in her, to save Annie O'Neill's life. That night had been the hardest she'd ever endured in an emergency room, and she was certain she had done her best, although the irony of the situation had not been lost on her for a moment. She had, quite literally, held the life of the woman her husband loved in her hands. Paul had not hidden his infatuation with Annie from her, and at first that had made Olivia feel safe. If Annie had been a threat, she thought, he would never have been so open about his feelings. It started with the spread he did on her in Seascape. He spoke admiringly of her, but the admiration quickly turned to adulation. It was like a sickness in him. It was one-sided, he assured her. Annie barely knew he was alive. Yet he could speak of nothing else. Olivia heard lengthy descriptions of Annie's physical beauty, limitless generosity, charming quirkiness, boundless energy, and extraordinary artistic talent. She listened, feigned interest. It was a phase, she told herself. It would pass. When it didn't, she carefully, tactfully suggested he was going a little overboard. No, he said. She didn't understand.